If anybody can think of a good controversy for me to get into so that I can switch categories, that'd be great. And then I think the pressure of like there's no way I could possibly support myself as a Dark Souls no-hit streamer would really put a fire under my butt to become the greatest of all time. Why Terminate instead of Fatal Push? We're playing Terminate over Fatal Push to be able to kill Murktide Regent mostly, but also killing Primeval Titan is very relevant right now too. Dauthi Trio. I'm probably playing against Niv. Damn. Wait, is this Abzan? Guys, I feel like we're playing against Abzan. What about cutting one Kolaghan's command instead of a Bolt? I mean, Kolaghan's command's nuts right now. Kolaghan's card's really good. I've actually felt like for a long time that the deck probably wants to play a 3 Heat, 3 Bolt, and I just like haven't been able to bring myself to do it until now. I'm actually feeling like pretty good about this split. Bolt is better than Heat or Heat is better than Bolt so often. Any chance I want to be playing around Graveyard Hate? I think that the ability to play around Graveyard Hate is like less good than being able to kill like a Voidwalker or Stoneforge Mystic. Looks like we are just playing against Abzan. Trade binder decks round 1 of every league, I guess. Play Fortnite, rename myself to Aspiring Ninja. The thought. They are just gonna be able to hardcast Batterskull soon. Do I just want to kick Tourach? I'm gonna kick Tourach next turn. And then maybe we can Voidwalker Cauldra or Batterskull. So they're gonna cast the Batterskull, but we can hopefully cast Cauldra. We'll have a 2 and 3 chance. Assuming that this is Batterskull, right? Yeah. Alright, 2/3 chance at casting Cauldra here. So you could also just draw Thoughtseize. If the last card in hand is Cauldra, it's not that bad for us. Also. Right, Kaya's Guile, sort of Fire and Ice discarded. Could be white black with a splash for Converge. Yeah, that actually looks a little bit more likely. So get to Cauldra here, but I don't think we could really attack. Oh, they get to clearing instead. Right. Well, I don't know. I mean, they discard Prismatic Ending. Not sure how long they can keep this up. I'll just go ahead and Kaya's Guile. Did I ever try updating Just Got Cats plus Image 2? I did try updating it. The deck seems like a little slow in this format that's now just so dominated by 1-mana removal spells, but I may return to it one day. I would like to. And I've played some different Flicker decks that I think are fine. You know, Imperial Recruiter was definitely a big upgrade for that deck. I don't think you could entwine for free. No, I could be wrong. I think you have to spend 4 mana. If you could entwine for free, we should have. I guess I could have looked a little bit closer. I just didn't think that's how it worked. No, damn. Ugh, gross. Right, nice to be able to Thoughtseize Batterskull. Vindicate's kind of embarrassing. Playing Red, White, Yorion, Death and Taxes. Yeah, I've seen some. Oh man, Thoughtseize is pretty good here. Pretty close to being able to escape Kroxa. I think it dies to Vindicate, I guess, after they discard Cauldra. Good game. They know about Bolt, so they're not going to fire up Shambling Vent. I guess if they can just draw 2 lands before we can put another card in the yard, they get to Cauldra. Yeah, that doesn't let us put a card in the yard. I think I'm just going to go ahead and terminate. Yeah. Their Battle Skull's dead, so Bolt should kill like everything. We get to Inquisition, their Vindicate, escape Kroxa, great draw. Discard their Cauldra. Matchup seems really fun. How do I have the Spirit in play? I cast a Kai's Guile off Voidwalker. I catch a deck tech? Of course, Satoshi. How about this, Satoshi? You can get one for free. Don't tell the rest of the chat. What do you think about Castle Locked-Wain? I had Castle Locked-Wain in the deck for a little while. I ended up finding the card to be good, but the Kamigawa lands are a bit better in my opinion. Those cards are really strong. I'm gonna bring in Unearth, Pyrite Spellbomb. Gonna play the first explosive. I'm worried about like protection from red creatures. Let me just hedge. And then if I see them, I'll bring in that third explosives. Deck tech for Hayashi. Esper Blade, because I can't help myself. Me neither. Seems okay, 4 Prelate, 4 Chalice is way too many, I think. I think that you need to pick like either or. I'm not sure which is better. Probably without the Mana Accelerant Chalice at the moment, but I think that's way too many to play 4 of each. I think Snapcaster's not great without like a lot of 1-mana creatures. You can probably play these two, but it's not going to be great. I'm gonna keep this hand. You know, one card I've been kind of thinking about, I know you want to be Esper, but I kind of feel like there could be a blue-white Stoneblade deck that plays the new white dragon manland to have a density of creatures. And I was actually thinking that the white dragon manland from the D&D set is really good because it's a 3/4 flyer and it blocks Dragon Rage's Channeler. I could be like wrong about how good or bad that card is, but just something thinking about these kind of decks. I also let's see. Play this turn. I actually like Kaya's Guile a lot. I think you probably just play like more Kaya's Guiles, and then that way those are like bodies for your swords, you know? Keep Ragavan on top. Then hold the Bauble for double surveil next turn. I think those are my main thoughts. Oh, I would play Feast and Famine over Fire Ice in a blue deck with Counters Magic. Oh, I'd also probably just be playing like some Charms over the Prelates too. Those are my main thoughts. Maybe sideboard the Fire Ice is usually how I do it, at least. Graveyard. I'm a bit worried about my opponent having Kaya's Guile, so I don't really want to dash Ragavan here. I'm gonna attack with Darcy if they have Kaya's Guile. If they have Kaya's Guile, they exile, make me block. I think that's fine. Just gonna be a 3-mana 1/1. They also might not realize I can get Delirium here. And also if they exile my graveyard, I'm not like cracking the Bauble right now, which is really nice. Isn't the white creature land like 6 mana? I think it's 5 to activate. But I mean, man lands that tap for a color and conditionally enter untapped have never existed before and are very powerful, even if they're mana intensive. See if they don't see I can have Delirium here. They do see. I did Heath, and now hopefully Ragavan plus First Strike. Get through the Spirit token. I guess I should have left up the Cliffs, but I actually have no black spells that I could draw. But my opponent maybe doesn't know that. A deck tech for Thunder Striker, all the streamers in deck techs. Yeah, I'm playing EE in the sideboard right now for like the white creatures mostly. I think my opponent is Dam. White red Asmo Blade. Yeah, we played against you yesterday, right? You were playing this deck. I'm not sure exactly how I felt about it. remember thinking that potentially Aether Vial would be a good addition to this archetype, where you could like Vial and Asmo for 0 mana, and then Vialing in Ranger, Captain, Stoneforge Mystic, Ragavan are all fine. I'm not sure if I necessarily am advocating. I think I'll just play the explosives on 2. I'm not sure that I'm necessarily advocating for that change or that addition, but it seems interesting. I think you have. I also think you have too many. You have too many Stoneforge targets. I think that Cauldron, Batterskull. Yeah, I would be playing. I would be probably cutting Sword of Fire Ice at least, and maybe also cutting either Batterskull or Cauldron. Maybe siding the other one. But I think that like being able to get Shadow Spear, Nettle Cyst. I think you have at least one too many. Not sure exactly how you'd make room for the Aether Vials. I guess you could probably cut like 2 lands. The sword, maybe cut the main deck relic. I also probably would like to see a split of Chalice and Void Mirror in the sideboard for the Cascade matchups. Maybe like to see the 4th ending in the main deck. Thought about Max Amber over Vial. I feel like I like Vial a lot just because it puts they drew another Kaya's Gal. I think I like Vial a lot. It puts Asmo in for 0 mana. Because like I think your deck's maybe a little light on ways to Asmo, maybe not. Also, probably fine. All right, we're both kind of in top decks here. It's nice to have Shinka to just first strike through the Spirit token. All right. Relic of Progenitus is sometimes pretty bad in Food vs. Lantern. That's true, yeah. Can definitely see that. They probably should get like Sword here. They get Batterskull. Alright, so I'm just gonna sack my explosives. I don't really like their decision to not attack with the Spirit because I have Shinka. I have another Stoneforge Mystic on top. But so hopefully we can connect and exile it, right? I don't think they're gonna block. You block, well, fair enough, I guess. Terminate over push. You're playing Terminate over push because Murktide region is so hard to kill. Titan too, but Murktide region is super popular and like get lights out without Terminate. The metagame call. Good draw. Is a deck I have with a million trophies with? Yeah. Although none this season. This is also the first day I've streamed it this season. Or played it at all. Yeah. The instant speed on Terminate matters so much. People I think are getting way too greedy, suggesting rude. I think people are getting way too greedy suggesting Dreadbore. Especially because against Titan decks, if you have Dreadbore is embarrassingly bad against Titan compared to Terminate. It's also like instant speed matters a lot against the Murktide matchups, probably. I think it does. And it's also true. Let me see what I want to do here. Oh, dude, we had the Pyrite Spellbomb for the Sanctifier. I will not complain about that. So again, they play Batterskull. We can Kolaghan's Command. Will that make them discard probably Cauldron? Yeah, definitely Cauldron. I had a train of thought that I missed. I think. What was I talking about? Yeah, you also have like a bunch of Unholy Heats already for Planeswalkers, but it's just so greedy. It's just way too greedy to play Dreadbore. Yeah, I would only dash Ragavan because they have so much sorcery speed removal. Been pretty happy with this line of play. Like splashing white a lot when it comes to dealing blue-red makes the matchup so much better. I mean, well, what white cards are you playing, right? Vindicate? Is that it? It's kind of a slow answer. It's like worse against Murktide than Terminate. Time of making this comment. No Guile and Prismatic. Well, Prismatic is like doesn't make you any better against blue-red, where it's like you're cutting Prismatic Ending for bolts or heats, which are actually worse against blue-red because Prismatic is a sorcery speed spell. Bolted Heat is an instant against their 1-mana creatures. Prismatic Ending only hits their 1-mana creatures. Heat sometimes hits Murktide. Not that often, though. And Kaya's Guile is fine against them, but it doesn't always answer Murktide Regent, while Terminate always does, because sometimes they have a creature to sacrifice. So I guess I just disagree. Yeah, it's fine. Disagree. See if this is Burn with Laris. Let's go Darcy, Bauble, Inquisition, see how I want to approach this turn. Guess that gives me Delirium, but I wouldn't hate drawing another one. They're drawing Riftbolt. It is Burn. We can keep that on top. So if you take this Lava Spike, their Skewer is pretty bad next turn. They have to, they'll set the Boros Drum next turn. I think that makes sense. And then we will just heat this next turn, then go Heat plus Ragavan plus Voidwalker. Get a deck tech for Tos. Grixis Shadow. We've been talking a little bit about these Grixis decks today. One thing is I don't think I like Thoughtscour for not playing the Delve creatures. I would just leave them at home. I think that the discard spells are enough to enable Drown in the Lock. I would also see that I would just straight up play Iteration over Thoughtscours in these decks. I would play the 4th Death Shadow before the 3rd Tourach easily. And I would also play Ragavan over Sprite Dragon and Tourach in these decks. This might be a budget consideration, but I would just keep that in mind. Does my opponent not know that I know their hand? Or what am I missing? What am I missing here? Just double strike on the Swift Spear? No way, right? This is a trade. Okay, deal. Good block. I think those are my main thoughts. I think Sideboard seems fine. I might play like one more Sideboard card for the Cascade matchups. You can maybe cut the second Bob. I think the first one's pretty good. Second one has like maybe diminishing returns to some degree. Probably not that big a deal. Personally, I found Sprite Dragon the more finishing power. I mean, if you, I'll just disagree. But if you, I of course love Sprite Dragon. It's not that big a deal. I think that Ragavan's gonna be better. If you disagree, it's not a big deal. Okay, I'll save the Inquisition for Luris, I guess. Attack them for 4. I made a brew for the Grixis Planeswalker. I don't know. I actually think that I do think that card's like a card I would like to cast and try, but I just feel like Grixis control in general is very medium, and I'm not sure that I'm that interested in it. I can't believe they didn't kill Voidwalker here. Am I still on the Demilich brew hunt? I mean, I like the Demilich deck that we've come up with. I think that it's good. But I'm not sure that, like, I feel like we've kind of, like, figured out its, role in the metagame or whatever. We should win here by going Inquisition Rift Bolts, because Rift Bolt triggers Prowess again. Yeah. So we bring in the Unearth. The Thoughtseize. I guess I'll bring in Spellbomb. They tend to be, they've been playing, like, a lot of core Firewalkers lately. But, like, usually I don't like these cards against Burn, but just like the hedge against the pro-white creatures, I think they're going to be a necessary inclusion here. Is about recent iteration stream decker? It should be, Spicy Tech Redemption a little ways back in chat. Rich Davis says, that's a deal. And then Rich also says, oh no, my channel points. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to react to that. I think that you're spinning your points poorly. Alright, let's keep this. Is it bad not to play Luris and Crew Liliana? I think that you would have a worse version of the deck. But if you just love Liliana, you know, you'll still have a playable deck. Have I played my Miracles deck anymore since mid-June? I haven't played very much of it lately, no. I've played some. In a little while. I think I'm an Inquisition on one. Eidolon's so scary here. Play their Arid Mesa. I get a land Goblin Guide, please. Thank you, Goblin Guide. It's even the best land. Goblin Guide is kind to us today. I would love for them to path Darcy. Worth 10k. Was it worth 20k though? Maybe I was supposed to heat the Goblin Guide in response. That's actually kind of interesting. It's like, do I care more about the Goblin Guide trigger or the Surveil? I think I care more about the Goblin Guide trigger, but I'm not really sure. My opponent's hand is just Path to Exile right now. Alright, we chose correctly, huh? They got Kroxa their path. Then we can unearth the Darcy, and it'll be a delirious Darcy. Man, people just love casting their cards, huh? People just love to cast their cards. Yeah, I've seen Yindrix bring to light Luris list. I'm like really interested in seeing like if Seal of Removal specifically is a good card in that deck. I'm not. Oh, I guess now we don't have Delirium though. I think I'm still gonna unearth Darcy. Yeah, we have Pyrite Spellbomb for that, which is Pyrite Spellbomb has been pretty good today. I guess I could have played Voidwalker instead of second Darcy. Second Darcy blocks Swift Spear though. Keep that on top. Final attempt at Spike seeing the right message. Well, I guess I've just been seeing it totally. This is 10 more. Okay, can we get a mod to return like refund Rich? All right, crush, give, never, sorry. Firing Spike, Athena Everett. Oh, it's the whole copy pasta. That's pretty good. I'm not sure exactly how these tie in, but it's the whole copy pasta. Very good, high effort shitpost. I guess I should Inquisition first. I don't think Voidwalkering Luris is really going to come up here. I mean, this game is pretty over. I just want to find a bolt. But, I mean, they should. I just don't really see what they can even draw into. Thanks, Simon. They just autofill his actual cards. It's funny. Alright, 2-0 burn. I don't think the burn matchup's great, but you definitely have good draws against them. Yikes. Okay, it's all fine now. I guess I'll put back a Terminate. My opponent's also mulled to 6. Davis gifting us up to MGBot, doing good work. Paying it forward from Simon. Yeah, I agree that Dimulich is a very strong card. I feel like I think I've built like one of the best versions. I don't think it's gonna get too much better. How do I feel about Path and On Thin Ice with the new additions format? I think that On Thin Ice is actually a pretty good card again. I'm kind of trying to figure out the best home for it. I'm maybe not supposed to play the Shinka here to give them the information that I have access to it, but it's also true that my life total might matter more. Okay. Does it optimize seconds hammer time? It's not terrible, but it's you're right, it's like not an ideal removal spell. We hit a spell we can cast. Wow, so lucky. It would be so funny if I cast the Summoner's Pact. It would be so funny. think back to basics would be too much for modern. It would. That card sucks to play against. Yeah, like I don't want to play against back to basics. That card is really unfun. Like there's a difference between unfun cards that already exist in the format and then like printing a new card that just sucks to play against. If they have turn 2 Titan, they have turn 2 Titan. Come on, dude. Bruh. Oh, maybe they don't have it. Maybe I'm being a bit too dramatic. They haven't shown me Titan yet, but they do have enough mana. They have 6 mana. No, not Grazer. Okay, their hand is, they have 1 unknown card. They're floating mana, so they have stuff to do here. It's a Zeusa though. Oof. We've emerged unscathed. I think I bolt the Grazer, right? I mean, Azusa is giving them a ton. They already have enough mana to Titan. So we won 10 months. Welcome back. Appreciate you, buddy. If they block, we can first strike. Oh, I tapped the Shinka. Oops. Right now, I guess I'm just gonna lure us in hand. Give them a window to top deck the Titan. Yeah, I tapped wrong, obviously. Their hand is bounce land, new card. They're playing the bounce land. Good for them. Congratulations on your Titan. Oh, it's not Titan? I'm supposed to go shields down again. The deck tech for Death Summer. That was one of the draws. Their hand is a Breeding Pool mystery card. Now I'm gonna, keep these Terminates up. The Blue-White Stoneblade. Very cool. I don't know if you heard me say this, but I also am interested in Cave of the Frost Dragon. This card, like blocking Darcy, seems pretty nice. Geist in the main deck looks pretty good to me right now too. 4 main deck Path to Exile seems like way too many. I would even like maybe try to find a way to play Anthonice over it. Where I feel like maybe Anthonice is actually kind of bad because of the prismatic ending. I would play the 4th ending over the 4th path for sure. Maybe you can get away with 2. You also need, if you're gonna play Cave of the Frost Dragon and Counterspell and Charm, what you need to do is you need to play 4 copies of Mystic Gate. And so you probably want to be cutting Glacial Fortresses and the 2nd Triome. I also personally recommend playing a Steam Vents or a card like Steam Vents over the Triome. I think the untapped mana matters more, but I could be wrong. And if you feel strongly about it, don't worry too much about it. My opinion. But that's kind of my advice. I would recommend playing Steam Vents over the Triome. I think the untapped mana matters a lot. Oh, dude, we can pact again. So funny. Shout out to everybody who wants me to play Dreadbore, by the way. Sideboard seems pretty good. I like the split of 2 Rest in Peace, 2 Sanctifier. 3 Blossoming Calm seems too many, actually. I would maybe recommend playing some Akatakis over Recall, actually, too. I like the verdicts on the side, but you probably 3 Blossoming Calms is way too many. You can maybe afford to play 1 or 2. But cool list, I thought it was good. Just like to keep those changes in mind. Alright, so against Titan, I'm going to bring in the Alpine Moons, 4th Thoughtseize. On the draw, I think I cut the 3rd Kolaghan's Command for the first Shattering Spree, and then... Was I also cutting an Inquisition on the draw? Yeah, I think I was. Then on the play, I want the 4th Inquisition, and then... Not sure exactly how I make room for it. This is my draw sideboard plan. Usually if I try one turn 1, yeah, it's just kind of awkward to, like, sometimes you'll not want to do that, but whatever, right? Not a huge deal. I know that, like, that's kind of like a philosophical difference a bit, like the Triumph versus Shockland thing. I'm in the Shockland camp. A lot of people aren't. Not a big deal. I totally get it. I'm gonna keep Heat? I don't think so. I'm just gonna keep this. Not a great 5-card hand. But we're up a game, you know. They have the perfect counter to Ragavan. Virtuous Orphan gifting a sub. Very nice of you. 2 Brick. Oh, B Vic, sorry. Got a gifted sub today. Make sure you say thanks. It's very nice of you guys. I guess we had the Shizo to fear the Ragavan potentially, but then that's just so mana intensive. The Thoughtseize the Titan, which is always nice. Every creature in this deck is from the last year. Lurrus is over a year old now. Had its first birthday a little while ago. But yeah, old creatures are, you know, weren't that good, I guess. How does Shinka come up? It's so expensive. I mean, I think you're probably misevaluating it, to be honest. It comes up a decent amount of the time, but a untapped land that makes a color that has an activated ability that's relevant is super good. It's a super high premium. There are very few cards like this in Magic. What, the new mana lands? Yeah, I've been kind of meaning to try them. I think that they're not as good as the Kamigawa lands. I really like the Kamigawa lands, but I could be wrong. So Fear does not get through the constructs. We're just gonna attack with Voidwalker, put Lurrus in our hand, I guess. Oh, it's monetarily expensive. I see. Well, yeah, there's tons of good budget options like Castle Locked Wait and the new manlands from the D&D set are both like totally fine replacements. Yeah, it's not like your deck's gonna be like almost exactly the same depending on what you choose. Just, I think the Kamigawa lands are the best, but it's a very small difference. I think I played double Darcy. It's not very likely we get Delirium next turn. I don't know. We have 4 in play. I'm pretty scared. It feels kind of likely to me that they have a Titan because they stopped getting aggressive with the constructs. Yeah, that's true. I feel like these are like really due for a reprint in like a commander set. Like, I think that these are like, these hold a lot of premium because of commander, right? Would the D&D manlands make you consider how many fast lands I play? Probably not. You can probably afford like you can probably afford 6 fast lands if you count the D&D lands as fast lands. We can play Teleria West off Voidwalker. Get their Summoner's Pact, which we can cast off Voidwalker. If I get this chance to concede, and I have an untapped Voidwalker, I'll cast the Summoner's Pact. Is there a color of the new mainlands that's most exciting? I particularly like the white one. Oh wait, hold on. It might actually end up being, if they crack their relic, what if it's correct? What if it's going to be correct to cast the Summoner's Pact to trigger the Darcy's? But that would be the sickest thing ever. Because like if the only way I can win next turn is via Delirium, it might actually end up being correct to cast the Pact. And we would have to hit 3 different types. It's also only true if they crack the relic, but it would be so cool. It would be just the coolest thing ever. Or we could draw like a shatter effect. Oh yeah, Grazer has reach. I don't know. I'm just trying to dream here, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to dream. Cyberpunk Kamigawa, that sounds awesome. I really like Cyberpunk 2077. I know it's, you know, not a super popular opinion, but I really like that game. I feel like we'd probably dead if they were more aggressive with these constructs. I don't think we're conceding yet, are we? Are we dead? I'm not sure. Okay, now we're dead. I can't sadly cast the Summoner's Pact. to be on the play for game 3. On the play, I like the 4th Inquisition. I don't like the I also like the 3rd Kolaghan's Command on the play I found. What am I cutting to make room for this? Could cut the 4th Bauble. Could cut 3rd Kroxa. Let's just do that, I think. Good hand. Let's keep this. This hand's actually almost close to the nuts if they have a Titan, where we can go Inquisition, Voidwalker, and then hopefully Thoughtseize Titan, and cast Titan with Voidwalker. Then we can get Shizo, Shinka. Chalice is not bad, but I think it's probably not where we want to be. Later, Hitachi. I tried any decks with Murktide and Snap. I haven't. I think there's maybe some way you can play those cards together. They have a lot of tension. I'm not really that interested, to be honest. I view there to be a lot of tension with those cards. I'm usually so good at drawing Alpine Moon. I kind of feel like I'm supposed to... They're drawing a Valakut, so we get to Thoughtseize their pack, and they're kind of, they're hellbent. I guess we'll keep the land. Land's not too bad. I don't know. A bit greedy. Oh, they might not have an untapped land. Yeah, they actually don't have an untapped land. No constructs for them. They can have one construct, actually. Nice construct as a treat. Is it good to cast Inquisition? No, I think it's better to if they draw Pact, it's probably better to not. Although we're gonna attack them for 7 this turn, and then potentially 10, 12 next turn. It's not quite lethal. We cited out the bolts. So yeah, I think I'll just not Inquisition here. The Inquisition would just be for Surveil too. Maybe that's good. They're not making a construct, which means that they drew something to do with their mana, or they want to use that mana to Expedition map for Bojuka Bog. They drew Explore. We ever see Gingerbread Urza again? Maybe. I never, like, decks that I play multiple times, I really never just truly give up on. Yeah, this is their Child's Tracker. We Voidwalkered it. I just want to Inquisition first. I'm hoping to find a land on top. We might still hit it here. I might Unholy Heat my something here. Just try to get Delirium. Oh, they drew Pact. It's not that big a deal, right? We could maybe heat the Titan to try to get Delirium. See what they get here. They might get Bog. How's Phoenix performed before? I like the deck. I think it's like, it's not broken. It seems to be a good deck against a lot of like the fair decks. The deck is very good against specifically the Darcy Ragavan decks though. I feel like if those decks become really, really popular, I think that's when you're gonna want to register the Phoenix Lich deck. I think Affinity's fine. I watched Doom Lake Trophy with it last night. Alright, so we kind of have a hard decision here. I think it's not that difficult. I think we just let this go and then try to get Delirium afterwards. Just fly over for lethal. I guess it's not actually lethal. I can Alpine Moon the Valakits. Also put this in the graveyard for Delirium. I'll just put it in the graveyard. Love to find Delirium here. We need land, creature, sorcery, or artifact. So no Delirium yet. We can maybe hit off the Kolaghan's commands. So I'm gonna name Valakut. And then if they don't block, then we're gonna very likely kill them with this Kolaghan's command. They block a Darcy. Right, they're dead if we find creature or land or artifact. Cool. G. What a game. Oh, I didn't play around Obstinate Baloth. I probably should have. There's just no reason not to. Not that anybody's playing that card these days, but could have lost to Baloth. Can twins read each other's thoughts? Kind of. Like I know literally everything my sister's gonna say before she says it. But it's more it's not that it's not, you know, mind reading so much as I just, you know everything she's gonna say. But I also, like, you know, personally am pretty good at reading people in general. I feel. I'll bubble myself here. Double Voidwalker is pretty bad in this matchup. Yeah, my identical twin sister. I have Thoughtseize on top. I think I'm gonna shuffle. Ooh. Well, I guess pretty easy to take Hammer. Their hand's actually kind of bad. If they don't draw a white source, right? They drew a castable spell. Springleaf Drum would be really good. Okay, it's not Springleaf Drum. The Shadow Spear? Hammer? Whatever it is, they're not playing it. I don't really have too much to do here besides cast a Voidwalker. With just triple Voidwalker is just like about as bad as it gets in this matchup, unfortunately. But if they brick on lands, we're feeling pretty good. And I think that their draw was either Shadow Spear or Hammer. So I think we have a chance for them to brick. I've ever played with Eldrazi taxes? I've played against it a bunch, yeah. Your problem is dealing with Eldrazi Displacer with this deck? You just kill Displacer for 1 mana. Or 2 mana. Yeah, Tourach can be good, but sometimes they have colorless blockers. Second Saga, so now they can make a construct. Yeah, double Voidwalker is pretty bad. How about triple Voidwalker? Well, I think pretty easy line here. Get basic Swamp, play Voidwalker, Unholy Heat the construct that they make, right? Although, hold on. Because they can get Drum. They can get Drum, and I think I just still need to kill the construct, yeah. They might also, so they get Drum. They can cast a Paladin, but they won't definitely be able to. They don't necessarily have a Hammer as that one known card, although I think that they do actually. But they shouldn't be able to attack because they have to tap the Midnight here. I think both twins are supposed to be evil. I think I'm probably the evil twin, if I had to guess. I asked my twin doesn't play Magic, but I was thinking about maybe asking her to do a Splinter Twin costume with me. Go Paladin Tourach next turn. They just have 3 Paladins in their hand is the problem. And if we don't kill the construct now, we're not killing it. And they have 3 Paladins. And this also, like, this can turn off metal. No, it doesn't turn off Metalcraft if they have the hammer. It's really close. I think I'm gonna kill this. Tourach also can block a paladin. Pan, thank you for 2 months in a row. Welcome back. Appreciate you. They're making a construct machine. They didn't draw a white source, but they could have got Springleaf Drum, so I wasn't really expecting them to do this, right? Yeah, I didn't think that they were gonna take this line. Maybe they're not playing Drum somehow. Drum is just, you know, too good, I think. Yeah, they get the Drum. They drew a Drum for turn too. How is this their line? I don't know. I feel like the construct's probably not worth this. They do have 3 paladins in their hand, and they can get a hammer here. It's pretty bad. They have to chump block with Tourach. And now they only have 1 paladin in their hand. I guess I could chump block with paladin. I think the Hammer Time matchup is pretty favorable with this deck. 6 down to 11. Yeah, clock's pretty slow. I think I'm gonna chump block. Oh no, I didn't. Oh no, I meant to attack with 1 Voidwalker. Disaster. Do I cast 2 paladins now? Probably not. I've also maybe taken Saga. Yeah, I've blocked a Voidwalker with Voidwalker before. Yeah. Like, it not only, like, game 1 can be a bit awkward where Voidwalker's not a very good card, but you have, like, all these Kolaghan's commands, 1-mana removal spells that discard are good. But sideboard, you have Alpine Moon, Shattering Spree, Explosives. Just, I mean, although I guess they do bring in Sanctifier, so maybe I'm overrating the matchup a little bit, but it's a favorable matchup, I think. Like, if this is not a favorable matchup, then Hammer Time is probably too good, to be honest. So they should just get Hammer, right? Then get Paladin, Equip, Attack. Been playing Mill and yet to lose to Hammer. Kind of surprised to hear that. Oh, the Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Right. Wait, they didn't float mana. That was a mistake, right? Oh, that might not matter. Might not matter. They have another Hammer as their last card. It's pretty bad. I think that they might, because they did, like, tap a mana earlier. It's Shadow Spear, right? Well, we need to draw Kolaghan's command, I guess. Equip, 17. Have to double chump with Tourach and Paladin, go to 1. I guess double Paladin, yeah, go to 1. Yeah, if we draw Kolaghan's command, we're, you know, not dead though. The 3 Kolaghan's commands. Go, Pure Steel Paladin, go! At 33. At game 2. I do think that game 1 is, like, closer, but man, the matchup gets so good post board. Matchup gets really good post board. I do think I need the Pyrite Spellbomb because they do bring in Sanctifier. I'll just cut all the Kroxas and maybe go down to, like, just 5 discard spells. I think Tourach's good. Maybe Tourach's a little slow. I mean, Pro White's good enough, probably. No, I don't think you want Void Mirror against them. Is Ragavan kind of bad? Oh, that's right. I do usually trim Ragavans. Forgot about that. Play the first Kroxa. I do usually find room for like the first one though. That's right, that's the card. I usually find room for like the first monkey. Although we are on the play, so like Ragavan, you know, you could probably even make an argument for more Ragavans on the play. Easy keep. I'm just gonna lead on Thoughtseize on turn 1. I think I get Blood Crypts. Although I don't have any Voidwalkers in my deck anymore. Maybe I could afford not to. They have Springleaf Drum on top. Oh, I should have played Catacombs. Be okay. Gotta take that Cigar to Zaid. If no Tron local meta, I should have played the third Chalice instead of Voidmire. The idea behind Voidmire is actually that you want to split Voidmire and Chalice because you want to be able to draw multiples and play out multiples against the Cascade decks. So if you draw the Chalice and the Mirror, you can play Chalice first, then Mirror. And then if they have one way to destroy it, then they don't have the second. Although it could be just totally fine to play more, you know, more Chalices. It's honestly very close. Bauble myself. Top card is Tourach. Tourach's probably pretty good here. Catacombs to play around Surgical Effect. Well, just probably to get Swamp, but after I played the Mire, I think it was better to get the Crypt. Oh, I was probably supposed to. I was supposed to kill the Giver in response to Drum. That was a mistake. It's fine. We can just kill both of these now. Pretty good curve. To kick Tourach next turn. It actually kind of worked out better for us that we made the mistake. Maybe. I like getting to use my mana there. So they still have Prismatic Ending, which they can answer the Alpine Moon with, but I'm really happy to get that exchange. Inkmoth Nexus, and then a mystery card. The mystery card is Stoneforge Mystic, but they can, I guess, they can play around Tourach by casting their card here, which they looks like they do. That's a little unfortunate for us, I guess. They can't Prismatic Ending Tourach though, which is nice. I guess I could put Lurrus in my hand. Putting Lurrus in my hand is good against them putting Lurrus in their hand. I guess their Prismatic Ending doesn't do that much here, so let me actually just do this. We get to hold up the Bolt too. I'd love to bolt the Nexus. I don't want to bolt the Stoneforge Mystic because I want them to spend this mana to put Lurrus in their hand. Do you think there'll be more companions prints in the future? I mean, I don't know. I don't work for Wizards, but there absolutely could be. There absolutely could be. So now I think I'm going to Lightning Bolt Stoneforge Mystic. Because just in case we kick Tourach and we miss on the Lurrus in their hand, I want to deny them the mana. But I wanted them to put Lurrus in their hand, which is why I waited to kill the Mystic here. Definitely feels a bit weird, but it seems correct to me. I mean, I think that, you know, new companions are difficult cards to design well. Like, more cards like Obosh, Giganta, Karuga would be fine in my opinion. But there's definitely a lot of room for things to go wrong. We did hit. Good job, Tourach. Starburns, thank you for your subscription. Appreciate you, buddy. So the hand is just Prismatic Ending, which they can use to kill my Alpine Moon if they want to. You can also equip Shadow Spear onto Minmites. But I think I generally like companions, but like Yorion and Lurrus are badly designed. Alright, I think I'm just gonna take this 4 for 1. Yeah, companions need to be a little bit lower power level than Lurrus, Yorion. Probably a little bit lower power level than Obosh too. They also like potentially the fact that like the fact that they were hybrid mana was maybe just a big problem with the cards too. But I elaborate on why I think Yorion is a bad design. Well, I think the Yorion, like Yorion as the deck building restriction on Yorion is not the problem. The effect that Yorion as a 4-mana 4/5 that flickers your whole board, that effect is too strong for a companion. Companions need to, I think, in my opinion, be lower power level than that. They need to be, you know, like Kihira power level, or you know, they just need to do less. If they're not going to cost you a draw step, they just need to do less than what they do. In my opinion, they're flying too, yeah. Just like the cards Lurrus and Yorion, they're like so strong. And like they don't cost you a draw step, which is why they're so strong. Obviously they're very mana intensive, but that's not, you know, that big of an issue. My opponent's card is just Prismatic Ending. There's no design space for companions. Well, I kind of disagree. Like cards like Obosh, Kihira, these cards seem fine. It's also definitely true that like you can't evaluate literally everything through the lens of Modern, where I feel like companions for Standard and Pioneer, these power level formats, tend to be like pretty good. They have Hammer on top, which doesn't do that much. Yeah, I don't. You can't just evaluate literally everything through the lens of Modern. Yeah, Yorion would be good if it didn't guarantee turn 1 Vial. I agree with that. Very based. And then you also have to get creative though with like the deck building restriction, of course. I mean, my opponent can block. Okay, they're just off of it. Okay, game 3. We are on the draw for game 3. But I do like this matchup a lot. I think I like this configuration. I could see maybe playing the 4th Thoughtseize over the 4th Ragavan, but discard spells are also maybe a bit worse on the draw. Yeah, I agree with the biggest issue with Lurrus is there's a very, very small downside to the restriction. Yeah, poor Lutri. Poor Lutri. Yeah, Lurrus probably should have been white black instead of white black hybrid, and should have been probably not allowed you to play spells that cost 3 or more. Period. I agree. But yeah, for sure. Especially because Kairuga is, you know, does have that restriction. You guys want to keep this hand? You guys want to keep? Oh man, this is a hand. Golly. If we lose this game, Hammer Time's too good. I'll be tweeting complaints, begging for bans on Twitter if we lose this game. What was Wizards thinking? A 1 mana +10/+10? Doubter's sweating, I imagine. It reveals Shadow Spear. Pretty sure I'm supposed to play Ragavan. We have the Shinka to first strike it too. We even have Pyrite Spellbomb for Sanctifier. Some good tech, huh? Oh, you're gonna regret that attack, opponent. Oh, wrong artifact. That's how I would lose this game. Yeah, we'll lose it all next round, says the doubters. Do I play a channeler here? I probably should. Oh, I'll play Esper Sentinel. I will cast the crap out of an Esper Sentinel here. You get a hammer. They also have Shadow Spear in their hand. Things could get like a little tricky here, I suppose. They double block my Ragavan. It's like a bit awkward too. Fine. Ragavan's just not that good. You hear, you know. I'll just trade it for Stoneforge Mystic, put Luris in my hand, or I could go double Darcy. I feel like I like Luris here. There's Colossus Hammer, Shadow Spear. I mean, if they have Paladin and a land, we could definitely lose. We're not in like that bad shape. We get to draw a card. We take 12, and then we get to Shattering Spree explosives. They're gonna Shadow Spear first. Are they gonna pay? They are gonna pay. This bodes really well for us. This means they definitely don't have Paladin, right? Let's get another Stoneforge, maybe? Equip. Deal. This is an acceptable trade deal. Super interesting draw. I think I'm just gonna go Darcy, hold up Terminate now. Attack for 1. We can take 2 more damage. Didn't Instaguard his aid, hammer kill you there with double Inkmoth activation. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could have played around it by playing explosives on 1. You're right. Yeah, shout out to all the Dreadbore chatters. I don't think I'm gonna terminate in response. Pretty sure I'm just gonna play explosives on 0, hold up terminate. Put Luris in their hand, sure. All right, sorry, this was kind of like where the chapters were. So if I play Luris Spellbomb, I do lose to Sigarda's Aid plus second hammer. I think I just go Luris, hold up Terminate. Terminate is just like so hard for them to deal with because they just don't have protection spells for a card like this. I guess I could maybe play explosives on 0 here too. Yeah, I guess I'll do that. Might just use the mana on that end of turn. Oh, I also might do it post combat so I could block Darcy on like Inkmoth or on Midnight. Does my opponent have surgical? They have to have surgical, right? If they're thinking this long, I guess they could also be, you know, doing something with their life. Oh, whoops, sorry. Ever happened where you like think out a line and your opponent leaves for like 2 minutes, then you just forget what you thought? I know I could spellbomb, but then I lose to a double hammer, and we're so ahead. I don't think I want to lose to anything here if I feel like I can afford to play around everything. Our opponent's hand is Luris Hammer mystery card. So they could have 8 hammer as the other 2. So there's kind of like an interesting tension here where they can get needle for explosives, but if they do that, if they tap for make a construct first, we're just gonna pop explosives probably. And if they don't, we just pass priority, then they don't get. Oh, sorry, this is the wrong chapter. Never mind. Sorry, I thought it was going from 2 to 3. But there is a weird tension with them getting needle and passing priority. Where if they just make that second construct, you just sack for 0. How is being Mardu working out? We're not Mardu, we're just still Rakdos. Right? I didn't put Mardu in the title, did I? Yeah. Maybe responding to someone else in chat. Down to 12. I guess my opponent can... They need another white source to go Luris Sanctifier. Sanctifier can also be dealt with by the Spellbomb. You can go Luris Stoneforge. Oh, we're talking about yeah. We have we're Mardu because we have this Esper Sentinel. Yeah, I want to leave up Terminate still, so I think I'm gonna kill the Luris with Spellbomb probably. We'll just use the mana on explosives now, I think. Oh, I don't think I was supposed to cast this now, because I would probably rather block with it. I'll leave that on top though. I can get Delirium at instant speed, that's pretty good. So now we know we're not putting the card on the bottom. Now attack with Luris. Hold up Terminate plus Heat. That's pretty. Yeah, I think that should be the changes Vox. Oh no, not +1 command. We already had 3. -1 LB. I'm not sure what LB is, but I mean the deck list is what is the deck list, you know. Relic is a good grab for them. It means I'm not going to get Delirium at instant speed. They need to pop it on their turn. Another Saga. I wonder if they're going to play out any hammers. They have to pay for Sentinel if they don't want me to draw a card. Another Stoneforge. It's the third one. Alright, opponent's kind of doing it. I don't know. We still have an attack with Luris because we can go first strike and Unholy Heat and then kill the other guy in combat. I guess, I mean, also Shattering Spree on the killing the Shadow Spear probably matters a ton. I guess we don't really need to do that yet. As long as we hold up the Terminate, we should be able to buy a turn. Love to mill over something we could play off Luris. Like that. Oh man, this is so... Alpine Moon is brutal though. Because if we cast it this turn to name Saga, we can potentially die to the Nexus. Name Nexus. I mean, if we name Nexus though, we could just we just die to them equipping. If we just die to Paladin if we do that, so let's just not die to anything. Just wait. Also up 10 minutes. Long match. Blood Crypt here. So I'd probably cast the Shattering Spree this turn. Name Saga. Yeah, killing the Shadow Spear just matters so much, I feel. Not like the highest value, but whatever. This also, like, you know, lets us attack with Luris, which matters a lot. Oh wait, are they just dead? They're just dead to the Terminate? They're at 7? No, there is an instant in the yard. Okay, sorry, so they're not dead. They were dead if we could turn on Delirium for Darcy with the Terminate. Do we terminate the Stoneforge Mystic in response? They let us draw a card, wow. And terminate the Paladin. we lose this game? Was this dispatch? Just floating a mana. They need another blocker, or they're dead on board. Okay, they won. We won. What a game, though. What a game. That was crazy. So the last time they were seen, they were playing Obosh the Prey Piercer. Now they are again. The mulligan this hand. 2 Ragavan, Force with Spear. Only 2. A Disciple of Hayashi. Yeah, Terminate's main board because of Murktide mostly. It's also good against Hammertime and Titan. Went with a mulligan decision. How do you bet the points? So the window for that is already closed, but you have to be in chat when I set the prediction to start. All right, against mono red prowess, I think Voidwalker is the worst card in this hand. Not a super strong hand, but we are on the draw. We have a swamp too, which is good to hedge against their moons. No 1-mana creature. The instant speed on Terminate matters so much. There's already been like 2 or 3 times this league that we would have lost the match. Had Terminate been Dreadbore. The instant speed matters so much for Titan, Hammer Time, just in general across the board, really. So they're drawing a Soulscar Mage, which we have Bolt for. Ideally, we can save Terminate for Obosh. I think I'll do that. Yeah, we also have 3 Unholy Heat for Planeswalkers. Anyways, Planeswalkers are not popular at all. The instant speed matters. And it's also like good and as like a tempo swing in the Murktide matchup. You're just being too greedy if you want to play Dreadbore. I think we dashed the Ragavan to guarantee a land for next turn. They also have like a decent amount of cards we could cast off of it. They also have Flame Slash. I'm not that interested in casting. Alright, I guess stopping is good because we can cast the Bone Crusher itself. I think I'm just gonna not. Because it does go into adventure for us. Do you think Endurance will come down and price at MTGO and paper? I mean, that card's really good in Legacy and Modern. More so Legacy, but good in Modern too. I guess I'm gonna Terminate. It's weird to me that Terminate is the best card for the role. You mean 2 mana kill anything? There's nothing better than 2 mana instant speed kill any creature in Magic. There's just not. Too greedy if you think there's something better than 2 mana kill anything, right? It's like when you need to kill like such a wide range of creatures. Why the Pyrite Spellbomb? It's to kill Sanctifier, Invac, and Ariok Champion and protection from white creatures, which we got to do this league. Yeah, Spike, but what about 1 mana kill anything? Oh, that's a really good card for them to have here. Let me bubble them. They're drawing another Seasoned Pyromancer. Do I lure us in hand? I don't think so. We can like block and Shinka, cast the Kolaghan's Command maybe. Okay, now we can draw step, make them discard the Spyro, and then I think we return Ragavan over kill Spyro. Because if we kill Spyro, just give them... I guess they already are going to be able to get this back. I'll get back to Ragavan. The Shinka just makes the Ragavan so much better. Although they've got Dart, actually, they've got Blast Zone. Maybe I should have killed the Spyro. I don't know. At least discarding their Spyro is really good for us here. Yeah, I think we just lure us in hand, play Ragavan, pass. And then they'll either dart it or blast zone it, whatever, it's fine. We do need them to like brick on 1 draw step. You know, we need them to not draw a Spyro for a draw step, right? How do you feel about Vapor Stag and Proud sideboards, and why is it bad? I mean, it's, you know, to answer protection from white creatures, it's not that good, I agree. Like, you could maybe play Nile Spellbomb or more Kozilek's Returns instead. It's also good, it's also like maybe necessary for Murktide Regent. Castle is a pretty good draw. I'm just gonna take the hit, make them deal with the Ragavan. Oh, does it feel bad if someone plays Sanctifier and Vec against me? I mean, that's one of the best cards in the format against me, yes. However, we have a lot of answers to it with discard spells and we have Pyrite Spellbomb, Engineered Explosives. We have outs to it, but you have correctly identified a great sideboard card against us. So now they're gonna take up the Blast Zone to 3, but then that kills their Spyro. And now we just get Luris back, or sorry, Ragavan back, and have the Shinka up. One wily monkey. Yeah, so they take the Blessing up to 3, and then they lose their Spyro. It's 4 mana of their turn here. They draw 1 mana burn spell, maybe it's kind of bad. They also can get back their tokens. They drew Lava Dart. Man, their draw steps have been pretty good. Right, big draw step for us. Have to take it. We're also gonna turn 2 clock off the castle. That's a really good draw. I think I make them discard. They like pretty clearly don't have a land in their hand, and I could Voidwalker it. If they had a land, they probably would have Spyro tokens, right? It's Blood Moon. Well, that's not a particularly good one for us to have, I guess. Okay, well, we might have to be trading Luris for Elemental token then. This is less than ideal. That to a bolt off the top. Lava Dart here, block here, activate. Can Blood Moon now to prevent castle? Oh, that's kind of interesting. That was probably the line. We're not dead to Dart now. Yeah, maybe I should have Blood Mooned. Probably should have. Cast the Bubble Hold of Shinka. No, we were 1 mana short of that. Blood Moon also means I don't have to fetch. Yeah. We go up to 6, down to 5. Yeah, we should have Blood Mooned. It's a cool line. Do I bolt this elemental token? I guess just not being dead to a lightning bolt probably is good. Fine draw. Still dead to lightning bolts. Or sorry, not dead to lightning bolts, because they have to bolt the Darcy. Tense game. My opponent clearly has a burn spell of some kind, right? Unless they're just not here anymore. You're still dead to lightning bolts with Lava Dart. They use the dart on the Ragavan. They have Stomp. Stomp would be so bad. I don't know how they could have it though. What is this in their hand? They drew Mountain for turn. They cast Bone Crusher Giant. We need another top deck. How do they have Stomp? I must have just drawn it, but I thought, well, I feel like I guess they couldn't have cast that last turn. We have to attack with Darcy. Weird. I guess I could have attacked with the Voidwalker before casting the Darcy. Oh no, probably still need to cast the Darcy there. Right, down a game. Down a game. I don't want the Voidwalkers, I think. I mean, Voidwalker, the Graveyard Hate is kind of relevant, I guess. Maybe it's the Thoughtseizes that are bad. Positions are like fine. Yeah, I guess the Graveyard Hate's fine. Just dies to so many of their cards, though. Did you not IOK try to find the Kroxa? Oh, another mistake. Forgot about that out. Sorry, believers. I can keep this hand. I'll bubble myself on turn 1 because I'm okay getting a mountain or playing cliffs. Why don't Spellbomb in? I don't think Spellbomb is particularly good against them. That card really only comes in against pro-red creatures. I'll keep Darcy on top. Ragavan's very good, or Kroxa is very good against them if they don't draw Firebolts. Sure. Just graveyard that. Easy take Bone Crusher there. I feel like there's no way they should leave in moons. I mean, I don't know. Crazier things have happened, right? But it seems unreasonable for them to leave in moons, right? So hopefully we can surveil into a land for Kroxa next turn. And his Swift Mystery card. Just gonna do this now. Graveyard that. They did have a card they liked more than Swift Spear, and now they also have a new card. Light Up the Stage. That could have been the card they kept. Swift Spear Dart. Well, if we just draw a land, they're, you know, not in very good shape. Untap land, untap land. Too late, huh? I'm still doing fine. Voidwalker exiles the dart. Oh, it doesn't exile the dart if they cast it now. It's actually kind of cute, right? Alright, so I guess I should have attacked first. No! Ugh, come on. That's a tilter. Also, I should be able to cast this lightning bolt off Voidwalker, but it's a bug that it goes to the graveyard. The top decks, man, the top decks. We're not doing so bad. We have Lurrus still. Just these top decks are crazy. Didn't want a Lurrus there. I think using the bolt is better than putting Lurrus in our hand in that spot. I think I put cast Ragavan, put Lurrus in hand. E on 3. E on 3, then cast Spyro off Voidwalker. It's kind of interesting. Like this line's fine too. Just like the Relic into Spyro, just so brutal. I think we like just block Ragavan on Spyro, cast it. Yeah, mounted. We can still win this game. I'm probably tilting a bit too much. Maybe not tilting enough, huh? I mean, the Lava Dart's exiled. They hit us for 5, 6. Just 5 so they could block Ragavan from the graveyard. Even we can like light up the stage off Voidwalker if we want to, but their life total is also real low. They're top decking. Famous last words, maybe, right? Yeah, I agree that we're a little ahead here. I think I attacked them Just Luris Ragavan. And then I guess we can EE on 0 just in case they like present lethal somehow. I don't think we're gonna be EE on like any other number here. We'd have also done the EE on 3 line, I guess, but I think just like still attacking is good here. Yeah, their life total's real low. Obosh in hand, plays land, plays Swift Spear. So we get to, I think I'm gonna crack the explosives on 0 here. Use that mana now. Then we can EE on 1. Oh, now we can kick Tourach, cast Obosh. That's interesting. No, EE on 1 just kills them though, right? No, it doesn't because we lose the Ragavan. Alright. Just going to game 3. Have not played this match super well, but I think our sideboard's good. Kind of scared of all these relics. Don't think I'm supposed to bring in Shattering Spree. We've got Kolaghan's command and explosives. EN1, crack, dash, rag. Well, you can't EE and Ragavan from Luris in the same turn, right? Are my allergies doing? Not well. I've got the Breathe Raid strip on. I don't think we could mulligan this. Definitely could lose to a more aggressive start, though. Well, we can, try to dig for a removal spell, also. I don't think my opponents left, like, I think my opponent should have boarded out Blood Moon. There's always a chance they didn't, of course. They're drawing a Swift Spear, which is not great for us. Yeah, pretty good draw from our opponent so far. 16. We need to maybe draw removal. That's removal. I don't unearth Darcy. I could unearth Voidwalker. Let's unearth Darcy. Surveil matters so much. Inquisition gives us something to do next turn and play a 2-drop. It's not super impactful. I think I'm gonna graveyard it. Thanks, Luris. Glad you're liking the videos. We also have Delirium now. They have another bolt, or a bolt. 2 cards left in their hand. Stomps me main phase. Very aggressive. If we draw a land, I'm feeling really good. Cool. Because now we get to make them discard their last card and escape Kroxa next turn. And then Kroxa's just, so big. They have a big top deck here, of course. But they didn't top deck something better than just casting Bone Crusher. In fact, their top deck was just in a mountain. We get on to 10, shock down to 8 if we don't draw a less painful land. We did draw a less painful land, which is actually huge, I think. You've just Bauble in yard. Yeah, another top deck relic would have been such a tilter. It's not over yet. It's not over yet, but we are pretty ahead, I think. They put Obosh in their hand. It's kind of scary. I might have to attack here. It's probably attacking's fine. There's not really too much they can have. Just see what they discard to this Kroxa trigger. Attack is probably fine. We can even cast Obosh off of the Voidwalker, although I guess it doesn't double the damage. And there's really just like they would have to draw like light up the stage into Bolt to kill me. Wait, they could have cast Ragavan. I guess they held it to discard to Kroxa. We could also fear the Kroxa to kill them next turn. Tense game. They drew a land, we win. Awesome. What a match. What a match. What a league, too. The last 2 matches were tough, tough games. Didn't really play either of them perfectly. Oh, Jace the Mind Sculptor and Gideon Champion of Justice. Which is the better 4-mana Planeswalker? We'll never know. Anybody's game. 2 straight 500k bets.